In a world of dungeons, dragons, and devious DMs, 4 adventurers set out to save the mysterious land of Baleflow.
I'm Frank Bunty, Dwarven Paladin and all-round badass. I like nothing more than righting wrongs and smiting evil.
I'm Bonarail, a half-elf rogue that'll rob you blind and mess you up.
I'm Lord Sugar, a human wizard noble. I'm rich, I'm better than everyone, and I set fire to everything.
I'm Draco Justice, Dragonborn Monk. For when justice calls, who will answer? I will. I'm Draco Justice.
And I'm Dodgy, the resident DM. I'll be throwing everything at these guys, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, a mimic kitchen sink.
Nerd OD&D from the Nod Network. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you get podcasts.
I was then stood up. He was on the floor. His face was covered in blood. So something happened. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Nerd OD podcast. How is everybody this week?
We're all right. I say we, I'm speaking for Reg as well as me for some reason.
Because I've lost the ability to communicate.
Oh,
wait. No, I haven't. Which would be awkward because, you know, this is an audio podcast, so...
True.
I won't be able to talk. It wouldn't be very much fun, but I is here and
specifically then, I am good.
Oh, good. Taking some time out of my day tonight, taking some time out of my night
to do this.
From watching The Crown to talking to you guys.
Oh.
Because I've just made a quick TikTok because I am fuming. So mad.
Okay.
About The Crown?
Because we've taken you away from watching The Crown.
Well, kind of that, but also, like, I forgot how much of a cunt Charles is. You might need to mute that.
No, it's fine.
No, it's me that does the edit, so it's literally just, I don't do anything to it.
No, he's actually going to amplify it.
I'm just...
it might even just be the start bit.
I think I just settled into forgetting what happened, and now it's all coming back, and I kind of expected it because, like, this is the season with Diana and with Thatcher. Incidentally, Gillian Anderson as Thatcher, fucking hell, she's really good, really good. I don't know who's playing Diana, but she's also awesome.
Yeah, she was on Graham Norton the other night, the actress who plays it. Her and Charles were on discussing stuff, mainly The Crown.
But honestly, he was such a knobhead. Like, she's developed bulimia pretty much because of him. And like, I mean, you knew that. I knew the gist of it when I was younger and it was going on. I knew that he was a bad egg. But it's just all coming back, and like, I don't know. I'm just mad. I'm mad because, like, a couple of things. One, I watched it like, please don't marry him, please don't do it. You can walk away now, knowing that I know what's going to happen because, like, this isn't fiction, right? This is kind of documenting what happened in a dramatic way. So it's pointless how much I sort of am egging her on to get the fuck out of Dodge. But like, yeah, I'm just so mad. Love the TV.
Fair enough. We've just started watching that. The Sister, I think it's called on ITV, which is like a 4-part thriller, where you're basically trying to figure out what went down from like the get go. So they're at some party, and some girl died. But it starts off with the dude watching a police report of her sister going, if anyone knows the whereabouts of my sister, like, someone must know where she is. Like, she's been missing for X amount of time now. You find it, and then he starts going a bit mental, and it starts doing flashbacks and then goes back to present day and stuff. And he's now married to the woman on the police report, but it seems as though he might have been the one that killed her, but you don't quite know yet, and you're trying to figure everything all out. It's really, really good. But it's only 4 parts, so it's not long, but it seems to be like it's a good watch.
I'm a big fan of 4-part dramas and 5-part dramas and stuff. I think they.
How many episodes? 6. Oh no chance.
I'm eager to start watching. I'm a Celebrity, but couldn't the other night because my TiVo box wasn't working, so I'm going to watch it on catch up at some point. I've been watching Educating Manchester. Load of chavvy kids. It's
See, I started watching part of that the other night. I think when we were finishing Nerdo D&D, Ash was watching it. And it was like they banned snacks and like chocolates and fizzy drinks and stuff from the school, but these guys started doing. The kids had got like a black market going on, where like they're selling packs of like Snickers and 4 packs of like Lucasade and stuff, and making profit from it. Stuff,
bro. But I've got some Lucasade. Do you want some Lucasade?
Yeah, and it was like Martin is always there for a whisper. And he's like, "Have you got any whispers, mate?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saved you one." It's like fucking brilliant.
That kid keeps coming up to him being like, "Can I buy what was it? Can I buy some Buenos?" And he was like, "No, not for you."
Yeah.
Wow. But this camera crew are just watching this happen and they're not intervening.
No, like you know how they filmed the inside the GP's office with the static cameras.
Okay.
So they're just all set up around the school. What's funny to me is the fact that I'm watching these videos, and this basically it's a year 11 that's about to leave school. He's the one he's like the kingpin of selling stuff. He makes like 20 quid a day selling Twixes, and he's leaving. And there's this kid, this year 7 kid, and he's now coming in. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm running a business," and they're not allowed to, of course. Anyway, what my question is all those teachers are sat there like this week watching the show, and it's going to be in year 9 now. So
yeah, the kids aren't clever in that aspect of things, but obviously they're going to get caught out now and be like, "Well, we can't do that anymore." But it's fairly obvious that they're going to get suspended because what they've been doing is literally, profiteering off racketeering and stuff.
Did you watch the headmaster though?
No, not yet. We've got them all sort of recorded, but I've just been watching them while I've been doing bits and pieces. So
I don't think they're going to talk about it in the show. You know.
Wow, what's happened?
Well, he resigned, but he got asked to resign. I mean, basically they sacked him. They forced him to leave. Because he was fudging the numbers and like making naughty kids stay home and stuff. To make the numbers. Yeah, he was a bad egg.
Didn't have that on camera, did they?
Well, no, which was a shame because I was all the way through first 2 episodes. I was like, "Oh, he's really cool. I like him." He was going around with a pair of scissors, cutting people's headphones off.
Nice. He's that sort of teacher.
Because he's a rebel.
Destroy property. Shouldn't have had it in school.
So I wanted to ask actually, because the reason why I was talking about this, embarrassing stories from school, like that you got caught out in, or that you could imagine featuring. What's that?
Well, we had a similar thing in our school. Oh, in fact, at your school, because I went to the same school as you, Sean. You know when you used to do Young Enterprise, so you were like in 6th form.
Yeah.
And you had to create a business of doing something to the school, trying to earn money from it, and like it became a national thing, and all the schools got involved. We did one where we apparently made stained glass windows, little mini stained glass window ornament things for fireplaces and to look good to try and raise money. But what we were actually doing is selling copied CDs for like a £5 and then giving them a stained glass window so that we would make like money from the cut. So it's a similar thing to that.
That kid, you were like,
we used to charge £2.50 for the stained glass window, and £2.50 for the CD, but you had to pay a £5 for the package. So if parents asked and stuff, obviously you had the stained glass window, and we made the most money that Whitby High has ever made in Young Enterprise until we got caught. When my business studies teacher, about Mr. Furness at the time, who's a legend, absolute legend. But yeah, he caught us red-handed with a stack of the Offspring album Conspiracy of One. Like we had about 30 in the bag, and one of the lads was writing on the back marker the Conspiracy of One on the CD. And we just had like a stack of money next to it, and we were like, "Oh no!" So we got our school banned officially from Young Enterprise, and it now no longer happens in Whitby High because of us.
Well, I mean, I've got I've got a worse story. It's probably going to shock you a bit.
Oh.
Were you selling cigarettes behind the bike shed for 50 ago? So
I used to. Actually, it was Alex that was on this podcast. Remember Alex?
Mm-hmm.
So in German, this was in year 11, so we were just about to do our GCSEs. So it was like a couple months before them. So in German, Alex used to sit next to this Welsh guy called Dave, right? And I used to sit behind them two. Anyway, I came in one morning and Dave wasn't there yet, so I went and sat next to Alex to have a chat. And we're chatting about this and that. And then Dave comes in. And Dave's like, move. I'm like, all right, just getting my stuff. So I leant down to get my bag. And he starts pushing me and saying, move, over and over again. He's going, move, move. You can't see, I mean, this is a bad story for an audio podcast, but every time he's saying move, he's pushing me hard on the shoulder, like just jolting me. And he's doing it at this pace. Move, 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 like that. He's doing that. Now, I don't remember what happened next, but all I remember is after what happened next, I was then stood up. He was on the floor. His face was covered in blood. So something happened. And then I remember like shaking and going like white as a sheet. And I must have hit him. I don't remember.
Did you just blacked out and got violent?
Blackout rage.
Wow.
This is like, remember the game Fahrenheit, like Indigo Prophecy, where he literally just keeps blacking out and bad things happen. Like he murdered someone. You're basically that guy.
That film. Anyway, my German teacher comes in, right? I'm there shaking. He's there on the floor crying a bit. And she just screams my name. She's like, "Shut me!" Like screaming at me. And I was like, a deer in headlights. So we got sent up to the headmistress's office, the hallway where all the teachers live. And I remember sat there with Dave, and Dave's shaking, and I'm shaking, and God, it was awful. Anyway, we went into the headmistress's office, and she goes, "I've never seen you in here before." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm really sorry, I don't remember what happened." And she goes, "It's probably just stress. Don't do it again." Then let us go. So I got a punch.
That's crazy. I also remember, we will get into some relevant stuff, I'm sure, but I remember in French, you had to go and record for like some part of a test, like a whole mini interview about yourself, and the only place to do it was weirdly in the cloakroom of this guy's little French class thing. And when I went in there, it looked like it was like a little bit, because it was just full of loads of random shit in there. But there was a stack of old magazines, and they were literally just like camera magazines and French magazines about random stuff. But whoever was in before me must have been flicking through it, and there was just like a nude woman in the thing, and I was like, oh my God. So I was in there for ages just looking through all these magazines, and I completely forgot to do my actual interview stuff. So when I came back in and he was like, "How did it go? Did you remember to press record?" And I just went really red-faced, and I was like, oh God. And everyone was looking at me like, what, why has it gone weird? And I was like, yeah, no, I've done what I need to do, what I need to. And like sat down, and then a girl went in next and came back in and was like, "There's nudie mags open everywhere in that room." And then everyone just turned to me and was like, red face, nudie mags. Oh my! I was like, oh no, it's really not what you think. It's just so awkward. But yeah, so much fun.
I've got
so many bad stories.
I've got to point out as well that I'm not a violent person. That's the first and last time I've ever hit anybody. So there is that.
Wow. Is there a statute of limitations on grievous bodily harm when you're at school?
Well, I think
because now we have an audio record of you confessing.
It's fine. Nobody liked Dave anyway. Dan jumped in.
Yeah, I mean, these sorts of things, when you're like, so I've got this question, I want you all to give us a really entertaining story about something that happened to you at school. don't just bring it on us like right in the middle of the podcast. Why not give us a heads up like a day or two before so I can actually think and try and come up with something, because I have not got a clue.
Yeah, honestly, two things, right?
Mhm.
I had no idea I was going to talk about this. Secondly, in 20 minutes' time, I would have forgotten that we would have talked about it. So pre-planning is just, that's not going to happen. Secondly, right, I can't believe that you don't have any school stories.
Nothing I can think of that's entertaining enough to share on a podcast.
I bet Reg has got another 4.
Oh, Reg has got another 400.
I've got so many great stories. And one of the worst things, right? So, you know how you always have that one weird kid in your year?
Yeah.
Like, there was one in our year. In fact, you might even know him, Sean. So I don't know if he's going to listen to this or not, because randomly every now and again, someone from my old school will be like, "Oh my god, you do a podcast? I listen to your podcast." I'm like, "Ah, cool."
Go on.
So I won't name names.
No, go on.
No. But yeah, he was always the weird one that literally walk around with. I know most of my stories rely on nudie magazines. I just realised. But he used to walk around in his bag. He always, instead of having a normal backpack like every school kid would have, he'd always have like a gym bag. That would be his, like, hold all would be his normal school bag. And he'd walk around and he'd always wear a big duffel coat, like a huge coat. And it always had weird stains on it in the areas you wouldn't want stains to be.
Jesus.
Was this Rorschach out of Watchmen?
It's close.
To our school?
Yeah. And yeah, so he'd walk around and be like, "Hey lads, you've seen what I brought in today. Look, like, me dad's got this." And he'd bring in his dad's used, like, fun magazines.
Oh, Reg.
And show him, but he'd be like, "Look." And you're like, "Ah." So he then became known to be that. But then we were sat in assembly, and it was a really, really, like, it was a horrendous one. It was like one of the year end ones, like, and the merit award for attendance in school, 100% goes to these guys. And because obviously none of us were ever that good, we just sat there just like chatting away while everyone goes up. And he was like, "You know what I found? Right? If you use your hand, it gets really boring. So what I like to do is, you might have seen it in films, when you basically lift your mattress up a bit, when you're a bit, hard stuff, and you use your mattress instead to get going." And as he's saying, it just goes silent, but it doesn't quieten down at all. So the whole school just known him as mattress shagger. And that was the thing. And then I went into KFC. A few months back in the port, and he works there, and I've never been to the one since, because I knew where his hands had been and stuff. I'll message
Not
you.
Mayonnaise on that burger, Reg.
No.
Come on, message me it now. I promise I won't read it out.
Okay, I will message it you now. I think to be fair, there's been so many entertaining dodgy stories that I have from school.
I remember bringing in once, because my uncle had an issue with his Vordermans, actually. That's interesting.
Right in the family.
Yeah, so he used to take X-Lax, little chocolate laxatives, but they were really powerful. You ever heard of them before?
No, but I understand from the description.
Yeah, anyway, chocolate laxatives. I took them in. Reg, I don't know him, so I'm not going to read his name out. If I did know him, I'd read his name out. So
then it's a good job I'm editing, isn't it?
Oh God! And it was the same kid. It was Dave Humphreys again. I fed this X-Lax to Dave Humphreys, and he was off the next day.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is you're a bully. You basically give a guy a broken nose, and then you give him laxatives the next day.
Jesus Christ!
Wow. Sean.
This podcast is therapy because a lot of things come out on it, actually. So.
No, that doesn't work. Is your holiday still going ahead yet? Changing subject.
30 in the app it says 32 days left. However, if you try and book that flight that we know isn't full, you can see the seat plan, and there's loads of seats left. They've cancelled the flight on Virgin Atlantic, but they're still not telling us yet, which is really fucking annoying. So It will be getting cancelled, and they've cancelled. They've closed Disneyland Paris as well. That was my contingency. I was going to buy an annual pass for Disneyland Paris and just go there like 6 times next year. But no, fuck that. Can't do that either. So I'm just going to sit at home and be mad at the world.
At least you can play on your Xbox Series X if it's not, smoking and actually working.
Fucking get it. I keep trying. I was trying to convince friends to get one last night and showing them Peggle and stuff. I know actually.
Stop showing people, like, you always sell your Xbox as like Peggle 2. I mean, it's just the pinnacle of gaming.
It does have the Alton Towers theme tune on one of the levels. So there is that.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, the pre-orders. So yeah.
Yeah, you're probably best off waiting. Have you seen all the stories of the first batch of Xbox Series X's that went to Smith's toy superstores in the UK?
Are they sort of rattling?
There's 78%, I think it was last time I checked, of them weren't working, or if they worked, they had little mini green dots going throughout the whole entire display, or just started smoking randomly.
The smoking was just people blowing vape smoke into the air.
Obviously that happened as well, but that actually originated because people were like, yeah, mine too, and then started vaping into it. So Microsoft actually had to come out and issue a statement going, I can't believe we have to say this, but please don't vape into your bloody Xbox Series X, you mad heads. But that originated because people were literally going, guys, and their Xbox Series X's were smoking. And you're like, bloody hell. But they've not had a good initial launch at all, to be fair, have they? Like, it's just mad how the machines aren't working, their first party games aren't coming out on launch. It's not the best of starts.
Orange rings and stuff, remember them? In the white...
The red ring of death.
They still happen.
Yeah, that they do.
And also Halo's been delayed. So, launch day game, you can't play it on launch day.
Well,
so dirt instead.
This was the problem with the Xbox Series X, that when they did all the original announcements and they showed all these amazing games, and then pretty quickly everything was like, well, no, that's not coming out yet. That's not coming out yet. That's not coming out yet. All the first party stuff was getting put back. So did they even have a big first party launch title? I'm not sure they did.
On the Xbox One.
And it's the same.
On the Series X.
On the new one that's just come out now. Yeah, this is what we were just saying. Yeah, so just like even the first party games, all
that's what I mean.
You've got to admit though, like Reg, it's the same with the PlayStation in the sense that we've had a big spec bump, a big hardware spec bump, just for the sake of timing. It's not for the sake of us trying to the hardware trying to catch up with developers and stuff. I think the progress is going to happen game wise over the next year or two, but I don't think any of the launch day titles were anything to be like upgrade from your current console. You know what I mean?
There's
not like
nothing that sort of jumps out to be like, oh my god. So like, with the PS4 and stuff, when you look at like Uncharted 3 and then you go like, oh look, here's Uncharted 4, and then you're like, holy shit, look at that. Like, that looks beautiful. Like, that sort of stuff. Yeah, 100%. There's not anything that goes like, like this is how different games can be.
The only thing that did that was that Unreal Engine demo they did.
Yeah, because that was just fucking mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. But again, that was just a test, wasn't it? That wasn't an actual title.
Yeah. It shows what they can do if they've, if they want to try.
Like a spec bump that's future-proofing the next 3 to 5 years of gaming, rather than
and I think it's also the SSD needed to happen.
Yeah,
a lot. There's a lot of stuff now. We were nearing the end of the last generation of like the PS4 and the Xbox One. It was like the developing stuff wanted to do so much more, but there just wasn't that power, that literally that little bit of power to be like, yes, here's what you want to imagine to its full potential. So they did start getting limited, unfortunately. But it's the same as now what happens is every launch lineup. If you look at the launch lineup for every generation, the first sort of 3 to 6 months, it's not really anything ever that goes, fuck, like that is next gen. It always takes like a year. in order to be like, here we go, now we're understanding how the actual, the hardware works. Now we know what we can push to get out of it. Like, it always does take something just to click into place to be like, oh, so if we just do this. But the thing that everyone's loving is it's the speed, it's the loading speed, because stuff like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla and stuff, which is taking, just like shy of 3 minutes to load on, the PS4 and Xbox One, and then you go on like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and it loads in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the next time round, it loads in 15 seconds. Once it's actually gone like, right, okay, you've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we'll always make sure that's in the sort of background, and we're fully aware that you've got it. So here's the big load, say the load file, which is just constantly going to be there. So the next time you kick up, it just goes, boom, right, we're on, let's go play.
So, right, I completely didn't think of this before when you were asking about Disney, but I had a really good segue into something that I learned this week about Disney.
Is it? It's Mickey Mouse's birthday this week.
No, although is it?
It is.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Mouse. How old is he?
Very. How old is Mickey Mouse?
Jesus. Hey, Google, how old is Mickey Mouse?
91.
Mick Jagger is 77 years old.
It's Mickey Mouse's birthday on the 18th. And he's going to be 91.
So speaking
that's when this comes out.
Yeah, speaking of Disney, Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake, has had a director.
Okay. It's a Disney Plus movie, isn't it?
I mean, everything's going straight to streaming at the moment because the world's upside down. So I don't know whether that would have been the case pre-COVID.
Apparently.
I mean,
because that's far enough in advance.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't mean the same as what it used to mean. Like Mulan's gone straight to Disney Plus. I don't know. Anyway, I'm already hesitant because of who the director is and the mock-ups of what Stitch is going to look like. And but it's John Chu.
John M. Chu.
John M. Chu.
Oh, okay.
So taking a look at his IMDb profile.
Didn't he do some? What was it, Crazy Rich Asians and?
He did. He did. Now You See Me.
G.I. Joe. Oh yeah.
G.I. Joe. Yeah, he did. He did the Just Dance series, I think. No, not Just Dance. Sorry. Step Up.
Yeah.
Why does Stitch look like a cross between a dog, a gremlin, and Man-Bat?
Is there actually
really
pictures?
It looks like, apparently, are these the images from the live Lilo and Stitch remake? And apparently I don't know if it is or not, but there's so many of them everywhere that seems to be shown on Google. So I imagine it might be what it might look like.
That one from Snopes.com.
Oh, no.
Terrifying.
The ones that look,
around for ages. In fact, a lot of these I've seen before they've started talking about live action remakes. So I don't think we actually know, but I'm kind of worried that the same thing's going to happen with Stitch as it did with Sonic, in the sense that they're going to come up with something and the fans are just going to be like, fuck you, change it now.
But that's good, right? Because they changed it and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and apparently the film's really good. I still haven't got around to watching it yet, but I will.
It's terrible. Are you kidding me?
I didn't hate it.
I did.
Right. Okay. So there's two very diverse opinions.
Yeah. Well, neither of them were, it was amazing. So, I still wouldn't rush to watch it.
Is it as bad as, like, the Max Payne movie?
No, nowhere near.
Well, then it's probably a great film.
Okay. That's your bar?
Yeah, well, is it as bad as
the trailer for Monster Hunter looks like it's going to be?
I hate everything about Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Especially this movie. The film itself, it looks terrible. And I know that the fact that they're like, hey, don't worry about it, it is it is going to include like your big monsters, and they try and show it off towards the end of this new teaser.
Yeah, it is, but it's like Transformers. It's like, let's just get the army involved.
Yeah, I don't like how that's happened, and I know they're bringing in the awesome dude from Hong Back, Tony Jaa.
Yeah,
bringing in him, and I love him. And he's the only reason I will watch it. But I'm in no mind to knowing I'm going to enjoy it, because it just looks terrible. Mila Jovovich, or however you say her name,
yeah.
I don't like her. I don't think she's a great actress.
She's only good in Fifth Element because she barely talks.
Yeah,
it's multipass.
I mean, just give that girl an Oscar.
I don't like it, no, because then her fellow will be like, oh, let's make more films with her and let's make Multipass the movie.
I would watch that. I would absolutely watch Multipass the movie.
During lockdown, mate, I'd watch anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wow. No, I still have my limits. We have been, so going back to what you were saying before, Sean, about wanting to watch I'm a Celeb.
Yeah.
Because obviously it started last night, so we watched last night's one. I won't spoil it. But what I will say is, it is very weird knowing it's set like, half an hour down the road from me. Yeah, it's not far. It's weird. But there's two really weird things in it. One is Jordan North from Radio 1. How he sounds on the radio. All I can ever picture in my head is Ralph Little, from the Royal Family and stuff. Like that. In my head, he sounds exactly like that. So when he showed up on I'm a Celeb, he's like, "Hi, I'm Jordan North. You might know me from Radio 1." I was like,
Radio just put on a voice though, don't they?
And I was like, but he does sound like that, but he genuinely looks like I didn't believe him to begin with. I was like, "No, you're not Jordan North." And I was like, "No, that genuinely is Jordan North." And then the second weirdest thing from it is they've kept the timer in the bottom left-hand corner. So, like when you usually watch it, it tells you the time in Australia. So it's like, hey, it's 7:20 in Australia. And it's like there in the corner. It's like,
this is the time right now.
It's 9:14 in here in Wales. I'm like,
breakfast.
So it's 9:14 everywhere, mate. I was like, fucking weird. So I don't get that. But
they're just trapped in a castle, right?
Yeah, it's like really nice. Like fucking set. So usually like in I'm a Celeb, it's like, hey, you're in the middle of a fucking jungle. It's a bit of a set, but like insects and like rats and snakes and stuff still appear in the camp.
Yeah.
In this, they sleep in beds, but literally they've got beds. They might not be the comfiest of beds. It's like Ash was saying last night. It reminds her of you ever watched that SAS Who Dares Wins that used to go on Channel 4. It's like that because the first, again, it won't spoil much, but the first one is very much a task like you would expect from that. And then they go to this mess hall and like, hey, look, here's all the stuff that we can do around here, and it doesn't seem to be that bad. To be fair, like obviously I wouldn't be like, oh, I'll go there for the next holiday, but compared to the jungle where you're like, yeah, you're outside, so if it rains, and all that sort of stuff. In here, you're in a castle, which loads of people want to do. And apparently now loads of people going, I've seen a ghost in it. There's a ghost that was spotted. I've seen a ghost. So apparently this castle's now haunted.
Oh, yep. Cool.
So
we went to Bangor a couple of weeks ago and we drove past it.
Hope that wasn't when we were in lockdown, sir, and you weren't allowed in.
No,
not.
It was September. We were helping Lucy moved into
that old chestnut.
Yeah, that's a really boring story. Sorry, guys.
These shows, it's odd, isn't it? Like I know there's a lot of shows that have been cancelled because of COVID, but stuff like Bake Off, for example.
Yeah.
To film that, though, the people who were on Bake Off had to be quarantined for 2 weeks
together
with the families all together, and then while they're on the show, they are not allowed anywhere else. So they are like living on this show.
So they're all mates. So all those guys.
They always are, aren't they? But in this case, even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's weird because they all act as though they don't know who's coming in still.
Right.
So like they all fly in individual helicopters because obviously COVID. So they come through, but then they're like, "Oh, I wonder who else is turning up." And like, well, because you had to fucking quarantine with them to be in your little bubble to make sure that they were there. So I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Shane Ritchie! Oh, I didn't know you were coming." Like, you fucking did. I was like, "You really did," and we knew anyway. So like, why are you so surprised that these guys are rocking up? Like, you've all had photo shoots done together and stuff. Like, that really pisses me off. The more I think about it, I'm more like, why are you lying?
Stop lying to me, television.
Yeah. Damn you, television. Damn you and your lies.
How rude.
There's been a new update on my car, which is coming out soon, apparently. So at the moment, one of my bugbears with it is if you're in autopilot, you're on the motorway, and it's overtaking a truck, and the truck veers into your lane, it will move over to the side of the lane as much as it can. But if the truck gets too close and starts coming over the lane, the car will alarm and then ask you to take control. It'll go beep, 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 beep. It'll freak out and start stopping and ask you to take control. One of the things that they've done to fix that is because you're in autopilot, you don't need the wing mirrors. So what it'll do is if a lorry starts getting too close, is it will tuck the wing mirrors in. So it makes,
well, that's nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy? It's like boop.
Just to give you those extra couple of inches.
Extra couple of inches. Yeah.
I would not feel safe. I would not feel safe if I was an autopilot or something's like, shit, wing mirrors in. Like, how close are you expecting it to come? I was like, holy shit. No, that's just too scary.
Just giving the car the ability to you know, when you make the joke and say, oh, breathe in. Now the car can't. You could literally breathe in.
Wow. It's just mental. But speaking of updates, so obviously we talked about it quite a few times about Microsoft buying Bethesda.
Okay,
yeah.
Saying it. So there's been more talk as they've been like Microsoft been fielding questions about the future of the games and what's going to happen to it. And what they're basically saying is that they've got no intentions at all of pulling any content away from Sony or Nintendo or anywhere else. So still expect to have all like the Elder Scrolls and every single title going.
Not exclusive.
So they're not going to be exclusive to Microsoft, but what they have said is it will come to us first. So, as a timed exclusive, you'll have it on our platform. But if it's not going to be a timed exclusive, we want it to be the best version of it. So you'll get like extra little tidbits or, it looking a bit fancier. So, your frame rates might not be locked to 60 frames per second on a PS5, whereas on the Xbox Series X it would be, so to speak. So you're going to have little tidbits like that coming through.
Optimized for Series X.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to start seeing is stuff like that coming through for it. But it makes it interesting that they spent so much fucking money on it and then gone, yeah, no, it's fine. We're still going to release all the games on, every format, but it's just going to come to us first. Why spend that sort of fucking money just for like a 6 months time exclusive? Like, it's just absolutely mental. Genuinely.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be all about selling the extra consoles, isn't it? But clearly in this case, it's not that. It's about the revenue from the games.
Mm. Yeah, because that
microtransactions.
What one of the few things that would make me go, is if they were like, right, PS5's no longer ever having Fallout and Doom. I'd be like, those are two of my really favourite games, but probably would buy an Xbox instead. But then you've gone, hey, don't worry about it. You'll get Fallout and Doom all fucking patched and fixed and correctly sorted out in time for the PS5, in time for it to come out on the PS5, because you would have had like 6 to 12 months of it on the Xbox Series X. So, if anything, we should be thanking Microsoft for doing all the bug testing and making sure that the any fixes and patches that need to be done are going to be fully completed by the time they hit the better console.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So, but yeah, I was flicking around before on Microsoft Teams. I was chatting away to Mike and Mark, and then Mike just sent me this screenshot of a Facebook marketplace thing where some guy sold his PlayStation 4 and VR headset and like a load of games for like 900 quid. And I was like, fucking hell. And some guy was like, is it still going? And then the guy's like, no. So I was like, oh man, if you would have taken 700 quid, I would have had it. So Mike sent it me, going, do you still want your PS5? And I was like, holy shit. So like I messaged the guy, I was like, yeah, mine's still going, do you want it? It's like 700 quid, mate, you can have it. Just fucking, it's all boxed up, ready for you. Just fucking take it. And then I was like, I wonder how much they are going for. So I've messaged the guy to be like, just fucking go on, have it. And if he says no, then I'm going to, make sure it's all ready for collection and stuff, and just stick it on somewhere and just see how much you can get for it, I think. And then probably just go for the digital PS5 one, because A, it's like 349 quid or whatever, and B, I get most of my games from a sugar daddy anyway, so I'm all right like that.
No resale value then in the games. You won't be able to sell that for 900 quid in 7 years' time.
Well, no, but I don't think I'll have it in 7 years' time, because Oliver would have started playing games by then, so it'll probably be smashed to fuck. But no, I am the more as mentioned before, and then when you start getting that stupid giddy excitement, I was like, no, don't, just don't get excited about the prospect of that could happen. I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing about getting the laptop and getting like my Quest and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really that bothered about it. And then the more I think about it, the more like, yeah, I really am. Yeah, I really want it. Yeah, I fucking need it. Right. And I was always saying I was never going to get a console at launch, because obviously I'm still like massively addicted to WoW. So I wasn't really ever that bothered about it. But now I'm like, oh, if this guy says, yeah, 700 quid and he comes and collects it, then I'm like, well, I'll have the money for launch day, so it would be daft not to have a PS5 on launch day with Astrobot. So, and I'll still have all the PS4 titles that I haven't yet played anyway to play on the PS5, but they'll just run smoother, quicker, and look shinier. So, for me, it's an absolute win-win in that aspect of things. So, I'm slowly getting a little bit like, ooh, I'm a little bit excited. But I do genuinely forget like how many games I've got until you do something like this. It was like when I sold all my old retro stuff. And I was like, I don't really have that many games. And then we went to fill the boxes, and I was like, fucking hell, this is a lot of games. You got something stupid like 70 games for the SNES and like 60 for the NES. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is a lot of games I'm just giving away here. So it does make you a little bit like sad, but at the same time, yeah, I can't remember the last time I played any of them. So, yeah, not that sad. But we are literally 12 days away from Shadowlands coming out. So they've now done the Scourge invasion on WoW, which is coming through, and started releasing all the new dailies and all the rares and stuff, so you can get fully kitted out and geared up for it, ready. And I've never had the experience of this before, because every time I've hit anywhere near a sort of end level, like the next expansion pack's ready to come out. So I was like, oh, always so far behind. But now I'm like at end game and playing through it. I've started doing loads of really fun stuff, and with people. So instead of just finding like the odd little group and going like, oh, this is fun, everywhere I go, there's like hundreds of people there. And like we're taking down these rare bosses in Ice Crown, which I know means nothing to anyone, but it's like these are like bosses that are like 4 times harder than what they usually are in order to get like the better gear for it.
Right.
To come through. And it usually would take you and your little party of like 6 to 10 guys, or if you do a 25-man raid, it would take you like a good 10-15 minutes to take down. There's literally 100 people here, and it goes like 3, 2, 1, and it's just like, fuck it, you've got to try and get hit him before it dies. It's insane, and it's amazing, and it's so much fun. Like, just people just chat so much shit and just have so much fun with you while you're just waiting for like the new boss to like come back in again and stuff. It's just been loads and loads of fun. And I didn't realise how diverse and stuff some of the quest lines are, and some of the dungeons and some of the stuff you get to do in it, because I've never been at this stage before. Like, I've done an amazing dungeon, which is basically a massive haunted house. It's just full of like ghosts and shit. And it's an amazing change of pace from going from like, a huge massive dungeon or an ice citadel or like a fire citadel, and it's just like the normal stuff, and then like this creepy, awesome looking like dated haunted house, and so it's so good. I'm having so much fun with it. So yeah, so if my PS4 doesn't sell, I don't really care because I'm still playing WoW and still really buzzing off it. And you guys need to jump on.
As you always try, I know.
Yeah, you do. It's just,
I know.
It's so much fun though, Dan.
Well, I'm in the thick of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, you're playing it? And how are you finding it?
Yeah, it's good. It is different. The gist of it is still there. The stuff I enjoyed, which is the adventuring and the conversations and stuff and the characters, all that's amazing. In the setting and so brilliant. I'm halfway there already. The gameplay's weird and different. And I've been playing for a good few hours now, and it's all just been on this one planet. It seems to be like, you used to fly from planet to planet, and you drive your little rover around, you'd find whatever it was you had to find, you would maybe do a little mission in a space station or something like that, and then you go off to the next planet, and every now and again there would be a really good run through a bigger level. This is just like, here is a planet that we need to find out if it's good enough to colonize, and then you spend a good 2, 3, 4 hours, however long you need, driving around on it, finding resources and doing little missions and side quests and stuff. So, I don't know, I'm at a bit of a lull because there isn't that much going on at the minute because I am just exploring this planet. But I feel like that's why it got the bad sort of rep that it did, because it's just, I appreciate, totally commend them for mixing it up a little bit, but it feels like it was, I don't know, unnecessary. People would have been quite happy with another Mass Effect game with a new story, just a little bit more updated. But don't know. I know this review's like 3 years. Well, exactly. This review's 3 years too late, I'm sure. But the only thing I'm nervous about really is getting to the end of it and being on a massive cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm unsure, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So it is going to be interesting, to be fair, because they had plans for so much, didn't they?
Well, the new trilogy,
DLC and loads of stuff, but because it was planned, and then the annoying thing is, since it's been patched and stuff, the reviews have well changed on it, and people are saying like, actually, yeah, it's quite enjoyable. It's not anywhere near as good as the original Mass Effect trilogy, but it is actually now a fun title. I'm like, well, if you didn't give them so much shit, they wouldn't have had to just jump straight onto another fucking title instead. They could have actually worked on this. So you've got no one to blame but yourselves.
It has unfixably glitched on me once already, even after doing the update. And I had to Google, and it's not uncommon by the looks of it. And it's like, that side quest you just can't do now. Great, brilliant. Fortunately, it's not important.
There's been a couple I've been reading a load about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because obviously that's out now. And I do love me some Assassin's Creed.
Yep, and it kept Call of Duty off the top spot in the UK for the first
time ever. Yeah. How amazing is that?
Crazy.
There's been a load of stuff about the side missions and stuff you can come across in Assassin's Creed. I don't want to ruin a load of them, but there's one which is just genuinely a nice little, like, here's an awesome little touch. And the second one is a reference to another title. So the first one, if you go to a certain location, like a church location outside, you'll find a bard with a band. And this guy's called Keith. And the song that he sings is Smack My Bishop. In it. And when you watch this world quest, at the end of it, it comes up and you get a little achieve for it called, you've watched The Prodigy. So apparently he is part of this little mini quest line, but I thought he looks awesome as well because he's even got the hair. He's got, like, it's not all the crazy colours and stuff, but he's got like the shaved head with the side wings, so to speak, coming through, which is just awesome. So I really want to see it properly, like come across it myself and experience it. And the second one is there's a quest line, like a side quest. If you go to a certain shop, if you just look to the left of this of the counter in the shop, there's a note on there, and it says deliver like 4 apples or something to this place, and deliver like this to this place. And you go try and do it, and apparently each object is too heavy for you to have to carry on horseback or to fast travel with. So you've got to walk them everywhere. And apparently these items take 3 times longer to deliver than any other quest or item in this game. And that's a nice little nod apparently to Death Stranding.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, of course.
I've tried reading it on 4 different accounts. And every single account so far, they've got 3/4 of the way through it, and just before it's about to end, the game's done a hard crash on them, and just like they've not been able to complete it. So they have no idea what the outcome of this is. So hopefully, Ubisoft actually fix that so people can see what happens at the end of it. But yeah, the quest unfortunately is not completable.
And apparently, one of the in one of the modern day sections of the game, there's a memo that talks about working from home because of COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah. God, I thought I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since Syndicate, I think it was. And I thought they were doing away with all the modern stuff.
So it's not a proper full-on story like the old one stuff with Desmond and stuff. This is, it's completely different than that. So it's not really keeping that sort of story to novels and to books and to probably the TV series that they're making and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But they still try and give you a reason as to be like, hey, it's not just, you're playing in the olden times. You still got to sync up to the others and stuff and go through and actually that's why you are who you are. But it doesn't do it in anywhere near as much detail. It's just like, hey, do you want to try out this for us? I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, you're now a Viking. I'm like, cool.
I was going to say, and is it to the point where people still hate it?
They don't hate it. It's just, it's pointless now.
Yeah.
That's the thing for it. So I don't know why they don't just get rid of it completely. But yeah, they think that's what makes them unique. So they're keeping it in, unfortunately. But yeah, I do really, really want it. Like Mike, who I work with, his missus has just bought it, and he's just sat there watching her play it, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, Reg, it's really nice. It's really nice." But it did make me chuckle because she's got it on the PS4, and apparently she was complaining that the front cover only shows the male version of the character. So apparently she's not a feminist, but she was just really fuming with the fact that the female needed to have the option of being on the front cover and stuff as well, and was really angry about it.
Okay.
And he started laughing, and he's like, "You took the disc out?" She's like, "Yeah." He went, "Well, fucking look at the reversible sleeve you've got then."
Okay, I was going to say, they did that with Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, it's like, it's a reversible sleeve, love. Just turn it over. She was like, oh, and apparently she was going on for like a good 10 minutes, just like ranting and raving at Ubisoft for being sexist and stuff. And I was like, wow. She's like, I'm not angry about it. I find it really, really upsetting. Like, right, we'll just reverse the cover.
I'm not angry. I'm just really upset.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I've got a quick story to talk about, and it's something we never talk about on this show.
Oh, not politics.
Sports.
What?
We're going to talk about sports, specifically football.
Oh, yeah, I know why.
Yeah.
I've got this to talk about, but yeah.
About how weird it is that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, who is on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he writes that, and he's on that Ravens Banquet.
Which one is it?
He's the main guy on Ravens Banquet, and I can't remember the character's name in It's Always Sunny. But they've both bought Wrexham Football Club.
Really?
So I don't know exactly what the details are. I can feel this is the sort of thing that might get exaggerated a bit on the internet and on Twitter, in that maybe they bought some small share, but the gist of it seems to be that they have literally bought it.
They have. It was going into liquidate, like they were like, yeah, we can't do it, and they were just like, well, you know what? Like Ryan Reynolds sold his gym business, so he's like, you know what? I've sold all that. I'll just plough the money into a football team. And apparently he went to visit before, obviously COVID and all that sort of stuff. He came down to visit. I really liked Wrexham. Now,
Okay.
for anyone who's not been to Wrexham,
Or
right,
Hero.
go into your go into like your nearby ghetto or hood or like really dingy place, then set fire to it and stick a load of homeless people in there that smell like chips and piss. You've got Wrexham. And he liked that. Apparently he walked around that and went, yeah, this is the place for me. I'll buy a football team here.
I can't believe it's that guy from what the fuck is it called? From Apple TV Plus.
From Raven's Banquet.
It's not called Raven's Banquet.
No, it's Raven's something, isn't it? Something Banquet.
I don't know. I only know from It's Only Sunny.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Sean's given me literally the first.
Yeah, Mystic Quest, Raven's Banquet.
I ever have to edit.
Quest.
Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet. Sorry, I missed the subtitle out.
Mythic Quest. It's known as Mythic Quest, though, right?
I don't know. It's Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet, and I'm sticking to it.
Have you not watched it yet?
No, because even though we now have a year of Apple TV Plus, you can't really watch it on the TV. There's no LG app. You've got to watch it on your phone, on your iPad, on your Mac, or I can Chromecast it from my Mac. But then I have to load up the Mac. I have to put it on that.
You got WebOS too.
Yeah, it's a pain. It's apparently it is on the 2019 and 20 LG TVs, but not anything older.
Also, the other one that's annoying for that school of TV is you can't get Channel 4 on it either.
Oh, we've got it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I think that was newer. But Apple TV Plus, it's very weird because it's all original programming, isn't it? Apart from Fraggle Rock, of which obviously there's new Fraggle Rock, but they've also got the old Fraggle Rock. Yeah. You know, you get the likes of Netflix and Amazon, and it's, you know, here's our original programming, but here's millions of hours of TV shows that we haven't made, that you know, back catalogue stuff. Whereas this Apple TV Plus has about, I don't know, 30 shows, and that's it. But they're all original stuff. Like that, I totally appreciate. We were going through and going, do you know what? That looks like it's worth watching. That looks like it's worth watching. That does.
The Morning Show was one of the best TV shows I've ever watched.
Yeah, that's on the list. And we watched Central Park, and that is absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. I'm
really good.
I'm going to rewatch at the moment because it's just so good. Gonna own it. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. Love it.
It's that show. I don't know whether you're aware of it, Reg. It's the Bob's Burgers guys.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And Josh Gad.
I did.
Teamed up.
I did want to watch it, and then it was like, yeah, exclusive to Apple TV Plus. And I was like, well, I'll never watch it.
I was just going to say, just a quick one. I keep falling in love with Josh Gad's voice. Every time, like, I hear him do something new, like, okay, he's Olaf. Okay, he's done Book of Mormon. But then more recently, I've heard him do the voiceover for the zoo one on Disney Plus, the one where they're looking after all the animals at Disney, on Disney World.
The Animal Kingdom.
I can't remember what it's called. It's got a really clever name. But he narrates that, and he's doing his animal narrator voice, which is completely different. Josh Gad, it's so good. He's like all relaxing and calm, and it's like, yeah, dude, I love you so much. Like, there's nothing that man can't do.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, I figured out after checking my bank account today that I had, after me going on and on and on and on about having Amazon Prime, that I didn't have an account for it. I basically had it for like 6-7 months. I had Amazon Prime for, and then I stupidly went, I'm not fucking paying for that again, so I cancelled it. And then once it was cancelled, I was like, I should have watched The Boys.
Oh, you need to watch it. Can I tell you something though, really quick? Right, Amazon Prime, I'm livid, because I've had student Amazon Prime now for 4 years, right? And I got a message from the other day saying, thanks for using student Amazon Prime. From this December, you'll be converted to a normal Amazon Prime member. And I'm like, right, okay, it needs me to renew. So I went online, I got my uni days login and stuff, and went to renew my details. And Amazon are like, no, we don't need you to renew. You've had it now. Like, you've had student discount. There is no more student discount. You can have it individually for 4 years and that's it. You can't have it any longer. So even if you're studying for longer than 4 years, you can only have it for 4 years.
I think they're just like, if you can afford to study for more than 4 years, then you can afford Amazon Prime.
Sure. I was like, it literally comes up with a message saying, thanks for having the student discount. No more. No.
I also like the fact you're livid that you've been conning them out of an actual proper full-on membership, and now you're angry that they're like, shit, we clocked onto the fact that Sean isn't a student anymore.
No, it's not that. It's like, they're just saying, you've had it. No more.
Yeah.
They say it to every single student. Like, it's insane. I don't think there's any other company that works in that same way. Crazy. So now I'm going to have to, like a fucking chump, pay full price for Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that extra £4 a month.
Although I do think that means that you can share it with other people now. Cause
you can. Yeah. But you've got to live in the same house, from what I understand.
That's what they say anyway, for the same as Netflix and stuff. It's like, as long as you're in the same house, you can. So basically, you can give me your Amazon Prime account so I can watch The Boys if you want.
No, it's more, you can actually donate. You know, you can sort of give Prime benefits to someone else, so even the free delivery. I'm assuming, right, but you can deliver to other places, though, can't you? You don't have to. It's not free Amazon Prime delivery just to your own house.
Yeah.
So I don't see why that wouldn't work. But before we go, I'm curious whether you've. I mean, it's a silly question. What's that?
Is it that time already?
Yeah, we're coming up on an hour.
Oh wow.
No, in fact, we're just past an hour. So just a quickie, I was going to ask, have you seen this, Reg? But of course you've seen it because it's Shenmue. But you've seen the Shenmue World, the unofficial fan magazine Kickstarter that's launched. So Shenmue Dojo is one of the big Shenmue fan websites, and they launched 20 years ago. So to celebrate their anniversary, they put together this quite nice looking magazine. Looks pretty chunky. You get all sorts of things. It's fairly reasonably priced as well. Have you gone for it? Have you backed it?
No.
Are you planning on it?
I did. No, because it's unofficial. If it was official,
true.
then yeah.
I mean, the nice thing. So, I mean, there's loads of it's filled with news stories and some like sort of like there's a section that's like a guide to the Bailu village stuff, so I'm assuming it's where the little chicken guy is and stuff like that and whatnot. But you also get a few free things. So you get a hand signed print from Eric Kelso, who is the voice of Ren, and
sorry,
what's his face? Yeah, the Master Chen's son.
Oh, Guizhang, sorry.
Yeah. You also get a CD. There's a guy, Rio X, who does sort of synthwave Shenmue. Yeah, so you get one of his albums. You get a CD of that. You get a poster. You get postcards. You get a bunch of stuff. I'd be more interested in having the CD and the signed thing than the magazine, to be fair. But it looks pretty cool, and it's not unreasonably priced either. I think it's like $15, and then shipping, which is pretty cheap to the UK. But they've hit the target. They're based in Stoke. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about it, to be honest. Obviously it's Shenmue, so I'm happy that
the word Shenmue and Kickstarter leave a bad taste in your mouth.
I still need to look at my art book after this pod. I haven't sent you the photo of my Shenhua capsule toy because I completely forgot about it again. I'll do that when we finish this pod.
Fair enough.
So you can
does she fit in the truck capsule toy that I gave you?
She does not. That's a shame.
At least you can stand next to it.
But have you heard the stories about the Ryozuki forklift capsule toy?
No.
So they made the toys, then they made the capsule that they sit in. but they didn't think properly that, hang on a minute, the Ryozuki one's going to be a bit bigger than the others because he's driving a forklift.
Right.
I'll tell you what, we'll just remove his head and it'll be all right. So they've just took his head off and then gone, how'd the guys fit it back on again? Like, tell them you use super glue. So the Ryozuki head needs to be super glued back on again to your
so
capsule toy figure.
It's separate in the
separate.
capsule.
Yep.
Okay, and you're supposed to build it, but it doesn't sit on properly, so you have to glue it.
Yep. That's exactly what happens. Just so they could be off making bigger capsules for him. So it's like, just even in that, they're just like, you know what? I know we took the piss by giving you the things literally a year later than what you wanted it, but it's also broken now, and you've got to fix it yourself. So fuck you. It'll come across because some guy posted it and was like, "Mine's broken," and there was no response. And then a load of other guys like, "Yeah, mine too." So they went to Fangamer and was like, "How come our stuff's broken?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, there was a bit of an issue. If you want to use super glue, it stays solid." Was their response. I was like, "Wow, just wow." And it's far too late now to ask for a refund because it's like a year later and you've had everything else, so you can't be like, you know what, fuck you guys. So it's just a bit of a piss take. But yeah, I really wish them all the success for this unofficial stuff because I know they've got it from the Shenmue Dojo and, you know, happy 20 years and all that for Shenmue Dojo. But just because it's unofficial, it just, you know, I can get all that information off the internet when I want to see it, be it from the exact same sources. And the postcards, if I really want to, I could put some card in my printer at home and do the exact same as them because they're not official. If it was official ones, like the exact same thing, but it was just like, you know, I know it's official, then, you know, they would have had 50 quid from me instead of 15. But because it's unofficial, I'm like, yeah, I'm just glad it exists. So, and weirdly, I come across an Easter egg of Shenmue while I was, watching? I was watching something really random it was a What Culture video, and they were talking about really underrated games on the Dreamcast. And they were talking about, remember Fur Fighters? That really bad.
I love that game. That was so good.
Did you go into, you know, the video store, like the video rental store, like Blockbusters or whatever it's called? There's a mission based around that.
Okay.
When you go in, and on the game shelves, there's a game called Shenmue, and it's a picture of a cow in a leather jacket looking the way that Ryozuki does with the plaster on his face.
Well.
And they literally just ran past it, and I was like, that was definitely a Shenmue reference. So I rounded back and I was like, that is a Shenmue reference. And I was like, that's awesome. So I was very happy about that.
Wow.
I'm glad
that massively predated it, but they must. Well, I suppose Shenmue was in development for years, wasn't it?
Yeah. God bless.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to quite happily end up.
Cool. All right, bye.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Sean was going to say something.
I was going to say something. Nah, not me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
No.
100%.
Hang on a minute. Fur Fighters.
Hopefully next week I'll have some news about me getting my Xbox and getting back on Peggle.
I'm with you. I hope it's not on the backwards compatibility list. I would laugh so much.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah. That would just not be right. Everyone knows that. Me and Ash played Peggle for ages.
Yeah.
Do you peg? I Peggle. Do you peg?
Here we go. Hang on, Dan.
I Peggle Blast.
I'm
Occasionally.
going to send you the image now of Shenmue.
Fair enough.
Just because it's glorious.
And hopefully next week you'll have an update on whether you get to go to Florida or not.
Oh, don't. I mean, it's 100% not going to happen.
Fair enough.
Shenmue.
That looks awesome.
Oh, it's like a reference to bloody to Monorail and Nodo D&D.
That's definitely it.
You got recording on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Resident Evil. Apparently, there's loads of things.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As well. It's just a bit of a shame. I was hoping it was just going to be a Shenmue reference, but at the same time, I'm quite happy that
week, bitches.
Have a good week, everybody. It's a pleasure as always, and I'll catch you all on Wednesday.
Stay safe.
Some of that beautiful D&D action where you nearly die again.
Yay.
D&D. Sounds rude. Sounds like multiple D's.
It's D&D.
All the time. Bye.
Yo.
Toodles.